Good evening, Africa. Good evening to all of our leaders on the call, our team in Africa, and even our global team members that are connected on this call. You're the reason why we get on this call. You are the best partner that we can ask for. I want to celebrate everyone on this call and to congratulate you for the momentum that you're creating in your business. And like I always say, we are looking forward to celebrating you on local and international platforms. Thank you for all the hard work that you put in today. Thank you for all the conversations you had today that included PartnerCo. And if you haven't reached that goal, there is still time for you to do that after this call. And so we are very, very excited to welcome you on this call with our area president for EMEA markets, Cameron Bott. We're so glad to have him as our area president. His leadership has been a great motivation for us to be able to reach our full potential as a market. And so I welcome Cameron to the call tonight. Cameron is on the call.
Here we go. Sorry, you froze for just a minute. Bless. Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here with you. How is everybody? Put a note in the chat here. Let me know how you're doing. I see we got Anthony. We got a couple familiar faces here. Nick, Neo, Ellie. Awesome. Well, glad to have you here today. I'm sitting in beautiful weather. It's very sunny outside, so I'm sorry if it's cloudy, but you know what? The cloud brings rain, which brings moisture, which brings beauty, and I love it. So every type of weather is excellent. Well, today, and this might be a little bit shorter training, probably about half an hour, but I want you to really start thinking about this new type of mindset. And this mindset, quite honestly, might not be for everybody. Okay, that's just a caveat here. And this might be a little bit of a controversial mindset because it is a big change from the standard way of how we've been taught to think. Okay, so there's that little bit of a caveat first. So if you don't agree, that's okay, right? I don't think you have to agree. But what I do hope you'll agree on is that we're going to take some notes today. We get out our notebook, right? We're gonna write down the way it makes us feel. We're gonna write down any thoughts that we have on how we can improve, because the purpose of these is to get us into our thoughts and thinking about what are the steps that we need to take to improve on a daily basis. Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen here. And today's thought process is about living a life of purpose. Now I'm interested, and I want to see in the chat here, what do you think it means to live a life of purpose? Because I'm going to tell you what I present to you today might be a little different than what you think. Okay, so I'm going to give people a minute, put in the notes, and also put in your notes in your notebook too. What do you think it means to live a life of purpose? Let's give you a second to do that. And if you feel like sharing in the chat, please do that. That's awesome. It's always a great place to share with everybody. Everybody benefits from seeing your notes in there too. Love it. Doing what you love and loving what you do. Living with gratitude. Okay. Jimmy and Henri, this is actually a really good focus. I love that. Touching lives. Awesome. Okay. When I was young, I'm not young anymore. I'm old now. But when I was young, this is a quote that circulated for a long time. And the quote says, if you live like no one else, meaning right now, if you sacrifice everything right now, then later you can live like no one else. Okay. And while this quote has some merit to it, as I get older, the more I look at it, the more I hate it. This quote actually makes me feel like this. It makes me angry. Why does it make me angry? Okay. Well, here's a reason. Have you seen this picture before? I've shared it before. And if you haven't, let me give you a little bit of background. This is me and my dad when I was a little boy. And every year, my dad and I would go camping to a place called Yellowstone. It's my favorite place. And do you know why it's my favorite place? Because it's the only place where I got time with my dad. My dad, since before I was born, he worked in a prison. And while he worked in the prison during the day, he would go to law school at night. He was trained to become an attorney. And then when he was done with law school, he went directly and worked the job as a janitor during the middle of the night, only to wake back up after 2 hours of sleep to go back to work as a prison guard, then to go back to school, then to work another job, then to keep going and going and going. Then, when I was a little bit older, my dad graduated from university, became an attorney in the house 6 months a year. Okay. So he was gone for 6 months and he was home 6 months, gone for 6 months. Now, while he was working that, he also had another job on the side where he would do divorces. He was a divorce attorney too. And I always used to complain to my dad, why do we have to work so hard? And my dad put a very good work ethic in me. And I love that. I think work ethic is incredibly important. But my dad worked so many hours and so many years because day with purpose so that every single day has purpose, no matter how long we have to live. This mindset of, I'm going to do everything right now so I can retire when I get old is flawed for two reasons. We sacrifice so much right here and right now for something that we don't know we're going to get in the future. And number two, let's face it, by the time we're 65, 70 years old, it's a little bit more difficult for our bodies and our minds and everything to enjoy retirement. Number three, I'll add this one in here. Retirement, where we sit and technically do nothing, is what people think of retirement, is detrimental to our health. Our brain slips, our body slips. We go into a state of just being. So the mindset that I'm hoping that we can shift today is what Sarah Ryan just said in here. We live for every moment and make every moment count. So why do I bring that up as a business mentality? Right? Well, especially in our industry, there's been this lie that's been told for so many years, and I'm going to change our view of the industry too. The industry lie, and I'm sorry if this is controversial, but it's work 3 years and never have to work for the rest of your life. Work as hard as you can for 3 years and you'll never have to work again. Okay. I don't believe that's true. And I don't believe that it's a healthy mindset either. I think that we should work with purpose every day, gain knowledge, gain expertise, gain things that we are benefiting us so that we can live a life that we love. I'm not suggesting that we don't ever slow down. I'm suggesting that we do things that we love every single day so that when we are 70, maybe it's something that we want to continue to do. Maybe personal development has become such a big part of our life that, yeah, maybe I'm not going into an office every day, but I'm at least doing some form of personal development. I'm doing something that I love. Okay. Let me give you an example. All right. So one time I was with my family and we took a trip to Hawaii. Okay. And this example I'm going to give you kind of gives me this. It's the same thing I think about planning for retirement, right? Planning for retirement is like kayaking. How many of you have ever kayaked, been in one of these? Kind of hard, right? It takes a lot of core strength to keep your balance. Okay. Now, how many of you have ever gone kayaking in Hawaii? There's a difference between the boat that you're sitting in here and the boat that you're in Hawaii. The boat in Hawaii, you're not in the boat, you're on top of the boat. So your center of gravity is a lot higher and you tip a lot easier. Okay. Well, I'm taking my family, and I don't know if you know this about me, but I'm extremely competitive, right? My kids never win a board game in my house. Like what kind of dad does that? Never lets his kids win. I do. I don't ever let my kids win, right? Because I'm super competitive. I don't care what it is. The only one that can beat me is my youngest daughter. Her name's Gentry, and she beats me at every single game, and it drives me crazy. Okay, but every other kid I dominate in board games, whatever it is. Okay. And that's not my kids, my entire family is that way. I'm extremely competitive. So we're out and we're kayaking, and I'm like, I got this thing. I've got my balance, and I start rowing. Boom, 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 boom. And I'm just rowing. It's me, my family, and we've got a guide. And the guide is staying with my family. I'm like, I'm smoking these guys. This is awesome. Like I'm getting so far ahead. So I get so far ahead that I can't see him. And I'm tired. And so I stop in the middle of the ocean there from where we're going. And the biggest wave you've ever seen in your life, about this big, comes and knocks me down. I mean, not even a foot. Okay. Comes from the side, hits me, and knocks me over. And I'm like, okay, this is fine. I got time. They're far back. And so I'm trying to get back on. Imagine trying to get back into a canoe like this or a kayak. Think about having to climb up on top of something. It took me 30 minutes. 30 minutes to climb back on that dang thing. Okay. And by the time I got back on it, my family had caught up with me and they just kept going. And I'm like, okay, guys, I'll catch up in just a minute, right? I catch my breath. I'm exhausted. So as I'm sitting there waiting to catch my breath, guess what? Another huge wave, this time this big, comes and knocks me over. And I'm off the boat again. Okay. And I'm exhausted. I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to get back on this thing. So the guide sees me, turns back around, comes and pulls me back on the boat on my kayak. And at that time, I'm exhausted. I can't row. So he puts his hook on the front of my kayak and he's pulling me. How embarrassing is that? I never lose. I just don't. I'm completely competitive. I'm a little bit egotistical, and I've got someone pulling me because I'm too tired to row. Okay. So eventually I get my strength back up. I start rowing. He unhooks and we make it to land. Get on the beach and I'm laying down just exhausted. My family's having a fun time doing fun things. And the guide comes and talks to me and says, you know, the easiest way to make sure you don't get knocked over by those little waves is if you'll just keep going. Just keep going. By having forward momentum, even the smallest waves, even bigger waves can't knock you over. But he said the problem that you had is you stopped in the middle of the ocean, and even small currents are going to knock you over. Okay. You got to keep momentum going forward. So as we start thinking about this idea of I'm going to row as fast as I can to some point in the middle of my life or in the middle of that ocean, I'm going to stop. That's when the waves start knocking us over. That's when we get in trouble, because getting back up into those habits is exhausting and it's hard, and that's when we give up. Okay. So I'm hoping, and again, I'm not saying you have to, but I'd love, and I've changed my mindset to every day living a day of purpose instead of grinding and getting ahead of my family, only to have them surpass me. My dad, getting ahead of the family, only to have us now live our life without him. Okay. So what does that look like to you and to me. I'm going to share with what I think it looks like to me to live a life of purpose and some of the things that I've been changing. I still work very hard. I started working at 5 a.m. this morning, right? Because I work with Europe. I'll work until 5 or 6. I'll do a good solid 12-hour day. But guess what? Tonight, when I'm done with work, my phone goes upside down on the charger. I take my son and I go to baseball practice. Then when baseball practice is done, I sing songs to my daughter Gentry to go to bed. And I rub her legs because she's growing, so her legs always hurt, right? And I sing those songs with her. And then I sit up and I do homework with my oldest daughter. And then we're going to go driving tonight because she's supposed to get her license here soon. And she's terrified because she doesn't know how to make a left-hand turn, right? Those are the things that we're going to be doing now instead of, I'm sorry, kids, I'm so busy right now preparing for the rest of my life that I don't have time for you. My life is a life of purpose. I'm going to bring things in memories. Another thing, my wife is terrified that we're not saving enough money. We'll have plenty of money for retirement, right? But man, we got to put all the money in the bank and we can't spend things and we can't go travel and do all these things because we got to have enough for the future. And I'm going, you know what? I'm going to take my kids to Italy. I'm going to take my kids to Tahiti. I'm going to take my kids. I don't care if it costs me a plane. I don't care if it costs me money because guess what? It's just going to get more expensive in the future. And I'm not going to have that time with them because we are not guaranteed tomorrow. None of us are. Live every day with purpose. Now, again, don't think that I'm saying abandon work, because work is purpose. It's part of our life. It's a huge part of my life too. It's what makes my identity, right? But make sure it's something that brings you value and that you love doing, because if it's something where you're like, this is just a grind, I hate doing it, and I can't wait for it to get over with, man, that's not purpose. I remember I used to have what I called the Sunday scaries. Anybody get Sunday scaries? Where it's Sunday and you're like, oh crap, I gotta go back to work tomorrow. Think about why you get the Sunday scaries, and is there something that you need to change? Because I've changed. My Sunday scaries came from, man, I know I'm gonna work 15 hours tomorrow because I have to get ahead. And that's a hard day. Instead of going, I can work 10 and 12 hours or even 8 hours, whatever it is, as long as I'm getting my work done and providing value and living with purpose. Sundays are beautiful for me. I no longer have Sunday scaries. Monday mornings are great, right? Shift work in a coal mine, 16-hour days, Valerie. We love it. Okay. So I want you to start thinking. Well, okay, Sarah Ryan just put a really good quote or really good comment here. Sunday comes and you wonder where the time has gone. Time flies. It absolutely does. But if we're living with purpose, then every day is a new opportunity. And then we're not based on this Gregorian calendar where it's Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. A day is a day is a day is a day, as long as you're putting value into it, right? And I separate my days by value now. Sunday is the day that I strengthen my relationship with God. And that's what I do. I strengthen it with God and I strengthen my relationship with my family. Then what's Monday? Monday is a preparation day for me to be able to do some things. And Tuesday is a different, right? They're all value-driven days now. And I'm not perfect at it by any means because I've just barely started. Okay. But I'm asking you to start thinking about some of those things. Okay. How do we do it? And again, this is just my suggestions. I would love to see your suggestions in here of things maybe I'm missing. How do we live a life of purpose? Lizelle, time is worth more than money. It absolutely is. So maybe we consider, what are we utilizing our time? Are we trading it for money or are we trading it for experiences? What's more valuable to you at the moment, right? Now, in my dad's case, it was money because that's what he was taught. Save, 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 save so that you can retire instead of, hey, hang out with your kids and take them on trips and, get to know them. Okay, number one, live by your values and belief. So people who live a life of purpose have a core belief and values that influence their decisions. These values shape our day-to-day actions and determine short and long-term priorities. Okay, so you just said it. Is time your value and your belief, or is money your value and belief? Right? because that's going to determine what you do every day. So a person who lives with purpose, they place significant value on being a person of high integrity, earning the trust and respect of others. Okay. And that does come from hard work, but it also comes from being honest about your work too. And the result is that they live with a clear conscience, spend more time listening to their inner voice than being influenced by others. So this is the big draw to me. This is the big nugget. Living by your belief and values, whatever those values are, that means spending time listening to your inner voice more than listening to what others have to say. Okay, so that's number one. So my inner voice is telling me my priorities and my values are family, God, hard work, integrity, right? So what are those things that I live by? I now know that I don't have to live a life of fear because I have made the decision that I'm not going to make an unethical decision so that I can earn more money. Just don't care. I live a life of purpose because I'm going to be honest in all my dealings. Because money means something, but it doesn't mean that much, right? Money means something, but my relationship with my kids and my family is worth way more than money. So my decisions are now driven by that. Okay. Decide what your beliefs and values are, live by those, but listen to your inner voice on those. Number two, people who live a life of purpose identify the activities that matter most to them and spend the majority of their day doing those things. Okay. Work matters to me because I enjoy it. I love this. This interaction to me is so much fun. Bringing value to people's lives and gaining value from you too. Like, I love your comments. I gain so much value and so much insight from these things that this is a part of my passion. So I don't look at work as it's just something I have to do. If that was the case, then I'd find something else. I love doing this. I love figuring out problems. So that is a part of my purpose. And so I set a lot of time in doing that. But I also spend a lot of time with my family, and I also spend a lot of time in personal development. I started exercising because that was a big thing for me. I want that to be a part of my life. If you don't set and identify the activities that are important, it's easy to drift away in the currents of life. Remember, we talked about you get sucked in there, you start slowing down, and all these currents and all these other sideways, less important things start pushing you away. Okay. There was an author, Annie Dillard, and she said, how we spend our days, of course, is how we spend our lives. So I think people don't realize the importance of the priority of the day because days add up. Days equal weeks, equals months, equals year. That equals what our lives are. Okay. Prioritize your day. I love the comments coming in here. I'm going to read some of these. Love what you do and never work a day in your life. It's absolutely true, right? God, family, other loved ones, people, relationships, adding value. Those are awesome priorities. Meeting people with PartnerCo products is a service mindset, serving others for better health, right? These are really cool things that should be bringing value into our life. So set those priorities. Okay, next. People who live a life of purpose wake up each morning eager to face the new day. My wife and I had this dichotomy years ago. I would wake up and put the blanket back over my head like, oh my gosh, I got so much to do today. I don't even want to look at it. And she's like this, chipper, oh, the day is here. We're so excited for the new challenges of the day. I'm like, how do you live that way? How do you think that way? And she goes, well, I just enjoy what I do. And I prioritize the things that I do and I follow my passion. People who live a life of purpose pursue their dreams with fervor. Okay. If there's something that you want, don't be passive on it. Pursue it with fervor. They put their hearts into everything that they do because they know, just like Nick Papa said, they're making a personal difference. Follow your passion. Find what you're passionate about. Find the things that you can make a difference in and follow those. Next, people who live a life of purpose put their heart into their careers into building relationships with friends and families, but they also reserve adequate time for personal needs. You have to achieve balance in this, right? So imagine me being on that ocean again. I'm now corrected. I'm not going to row faster than everybody. I'm going to stay with the group. I'm going to create those relationships. But what if I had to pull everybody the entire way? And they were just like, nope, not going to row. And you're pulling and you're pulling and you're pulling and you're pulling. That's not balance. You have to have some time where you go, my muscles are atrophied right now and I need to rest, or I need to do some things for my mental health, or I need to do some things for my personal health. It doesn't, okay, perfect example. My wife and I were at the gym yesterday, and at the gym, they give personal trainers free for your first 2 weeks. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. Except the personal trainers, none of them were fit. None of them lived a healthy lifestyle. And I'm like, how are you a personal trainer? And I talked to one of them. He goes, I don't have any time to work out because I'm personally training everybody. And I said, don't you think that's a little bit backwards? Like, especially as a personal trainer, you ought to look the part, but you should probably spend some time on yourself, right? Because you're putting everything into somebody else that you're atrophying away. Achieving balance means living up to one's potential in all facets of life. Okay, so it's not just the money side, and maybe it's not just the physical health side, it's the mental health side. It's the I'm learning, I'm growing. Figure out which facets of life are important to you and spend ample time in each one of those, right? And prioritize those things. Most critical things come first during the day. We talked about that a while ago. Prioritize the most critical things so they don't get swept away by the tide of the unimportant things, but prioritize those throughout the day. Make a difference. This one is a huge one to me. And I think most people on this call think making a difference is a huge part of living a life of purpose. So people who live a life of purpose make a meaningful difference in someone else's life. Think about how and had an acre, heck acre, I don't know what you call them in South Africa, but an acre, that's a lot of land. And it was all grass, and he could not take care of his yard. So I volunteered to go over and take care of his yard for him. And it took me hours to do, and he would give me 50 cents a day, right, for doing it. The money was nothing. It was ridiculous. But I felt great providing that service for somebody. And I did that until I was 18 years old for that guy. Right? It brought a lot of value into his life. It meant more to me than I'm sure it meant to him, because I learned the lesson of having meaning in my life. It's not just about me, and I feel really good about that. Okay. People who live a meaningful life, they do things for others without expectation of personal gain. 50 cents is a personal gain, right? It's nothing. But they serve in as exemplary role models and gain as much satisfaction witnessing the success of others as much as they do witnessing their own. This is the next level of leadership I'm hoping we bring into our company. 2 mindsets. Number 1 is our mindset to work for a couple years and then sit on our laurels. That was the old school way of thinking in network marketing. Do, and then don't, right? I propose that we do with a balanced effort, making sure that we're bringing value into our life, but that we can continue to do it, because what it looks like to do right now and what it looks like to do later down the road might be different, right? Maybe it's a lot of personal calls and things happening right now, but later down the road, it's training and helping other people and inspiring others and mentoring so that you can get the satisfaction of witnessing them succeed. Okay. There's an old proverb that says a candle does not lose its light by lighting another candle. So many people think that Well, if I give of myself, if I give away my knowledge, if I give away my glory, if I give away the recognition, then it takes away from me. My goodness, the best thing you can do is give the recognition to your people and teach them and have them pass you, especially in this industry. Okay. Valerie, you just said it right. This isn't something we retire away from. This is something we retire into. Whoa, that's a nugget right there. That's huge. Okay. Retire into this thing, but continue to provide and be visible and be, because as you grow in this industry, there's this tendency in some companies and some people to, I've made it, now don't talk to me. You've got the most knowledge and the most expertise. Share that. Holy cow, be a mentor. That's living with purpose. I may not be making all the sponsorship calls every single day. I'm still doing some of those things, but my purpose is now different, right? I'm lighting other people's way. Last one, living in the moment. People who live a life of purpose cherish every single moment and live life without regret. This is huge. Living life without regret, it's such like a cliche thing to say, but my gosh, it is critical and people don't do it. What it means to live a life without regret is we're smart about our decisions. We think about things, but once you've made the decision, do it. Go full in, hit it hard, make it happen. And if it didn't work out, okay, don't regret it. Think about things you can change and move forward. Okay. People who live a life of purpose in living in the moment, they take joy experiencing the things that life gives them, and they don't worry about keeping score. I'm going to tell you the one thing that held me back for years. So I'll get to that in just a second. Okay. And Dr. Seuss, how many of you, I mean, we were little, we read Dr. Seuss books all the time, right? He has a quote. He says, don't cry because it's over. Smile because it happened. Enjoy and live in the moment. My brother, awesome guy, love him to death, and he's extremely wealthy. Extremely wealthy. And I, for years and years and years, compared myself to him. He's 7 years older than me, and I'm like, okay, in 7 years, I've got to be up to where he is. Why? Why? We've got all different facets of his life. There's things that I do better. There's things that he does better. He makes more money. I make better things here. I do, right? Why are we comparing now? That robbed myself of joy of living in the moment because I was living in his world, not mine. I made that change a few years ago where I said, I think he's awesome and he can mentor me and I can love what he's doing, but I'm going to love what I'm doing because dang it, I do a good job too. And I'm pretty awesome. I want you guys to give yourselves the credit of living in the moment and going, hey, I'm experiencing the experience that I'm experiencing because this is me, and don't regret it. Okay. And certainly don't keep score with other people. That just robs you of the moment. Some neighbor's always going to have a bigger car, bigger house, better boat, whatever it is, than you are. But guess what? Perfect example. My wife and I were walking. We live in a new neighborhood here. When we lived in Ireland, we bought this house that we're living in, and it was the worst house on the street. The worst house. But I got it for basically nothing. So for years, by myself, I fixed everything in it, redid the outside, built some new pieces on it. I used to be a finished carpenter. I built homes, so I know how to do it. But our house is beautiful now. It looks really good. Well, as we're walking around this neighborhood, there are some of the most insane houses being built. And a woman walked out from one house, and my wife goes, I absolutely love your house. It's gorgeous. She goes, you can have my house, but you have to take my life. Like, you have to live my life. She was like, what? She goes, my husband just cheated on me and left me, took everything. I'm now selling the house, right? All of these different things. And my wife's like, no, thanks. I'll live in my beautiful house here that's half the size of yours, right? When we compare ourselves to others, we don't know what's happening in their world. Okay. We put all these false expectations on ourselves. Don't compete, don't compare, celebrate others, collaborate. Yolandi, that's perfect. I'm gonna repeat that. Yolandi just she just dropped a bomb in here. Never compete and compare. celebrate and collaborate. That is living in the moment and living a life of purpose. Celebrate your successes, celebrate other people's successes as well, and collaborate with them on how they can do better and how we can improve each other. Okay. This is the mindset that I'm hoping we get into. I'm hoping we can change this mindset of, and let me just recap. Work every day like no one else will so that you can retire and live the way that done. How about we change that quote to live every day with purpose, bring purpose into people's lives, love, create relationships, bring value, work on yourself every single day of your life. Why in the world would we consider giving up halfway? 65 years old. It's the most ridiculous concept to me now. Retirement. I'm not saying you can't slow down and enjoy things and go camping, but retirement to me is it's out of my mind. I don't ever want to retire. What I want to do is figure out how I can live purposefully every day, have fun, so I don't want to retire from the way that I live. Can we do that together? How is that going to impact your business, though? What is that? This is a lifestyle change, but this is also a business change. Okay. The thought process of I'm going to work and work and work, and hopefully when I get enough income and I get my 2 power lines built and I get another pay line built, and everything, I can start resting. How about we start focusing on, I'm going to solidify my business, make a great income. And then once I've done that, I'm going to move into the next level, which is mentorship, leadership development. I'm going to help people below me do exactly what I've done. This is the key of what this industry has been trying to teach. We've just missed it just a little bit because the message has been do, then you can stop. How about do, bring that value to the people who you've brought in, find leaders who want it as bad as you do, have them do. And then we keep teaching that duplication because this is not just about making money. This is about bringing purpose into people's lives, pouring into each other. Thank you, Valerie. Very, very good. Okay. Change that mindset right now. And I'm telling you, it's going to impact your business for the rest of your life in a positive way. Because you're not going to look at work as something I have to do now. It's a necessary evil. And then when I get to rest, I'm done. It'll be something that provides you value every day. You're going to love it. And people are going to feel it that you love what you do. And I'm telling you, people are hungry to love what they do too, because there are so many people still that are like, I got the Sunday scaries. I don't want to wake up on Monday. This is your opportunity to share what you have, something very, very special. And I would not, and I could not think of a better group of people to do it. You guys are amazing. You're awesome. You're on here every week. You're on here every day, grinding and doing this thing. And we love you for that. You bring so much value to this organization. And like we said, we're better together. That's not just a tagline. It is the fact of this company. We pour into each other. We bring value to each other. We bring people, pour into them, help people live a life of purpose. And we are going to take this thing to the absolute moon. Sorry it was short, only 40 minutes today. I love you though. And I'm going to pass it back to Blessing. Thank you so much for being on with us. And if you found this useful, then share with your friends because we will keep doing these on a monthly basis. I'm just having fun. So
thank you so much, Cam. We absolutely love you too. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, team. It's been value. And share this with your friends. I couldn't say anything to add to what Cameron has shared with us tonight. Amazing call. We'll make the recordings available for all of our team. And let's keep, doing what we do and living a life of purpose. Good night, team.
thanks, everybody.
You can unmute and say your goodbyes. I know you want to do that.
Oh, I think they're locked out of unmuting. You have to ask them. They're like pushing the button. We'll do this.
There we go. Thank you, Cam. Thank you, Blessing. We'll see you next month. Same time, same
God
place.
blessing. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
Thank you so much for an awesome
Thank
session,
you.
Cameron. We really appreciate you.
Yeah, cheers, Cameron.
Thank you, Cam.
Bye.
Thank
you.
Thank you, everybody. Bye.
Yeah.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you,
Bye.
Cameron.
Thank you. Bye
It was
bye.
an awesome training. Thank you.
Thank you, team.
Everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Bye. Thank you, Blessing.
Awesome
Thank you,
evening.
Cameron.
Thank you.
Thank you, team.
Thank you, Cameron.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.